How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to make some opera torte or cake. So in a large mixing bowl filled with 1 1/3 cup of almond flour, I'm going to sieve 3/4 of a cup of cake and pastry flour. Cake and pastry flour has a lower protein content, so the way to achieve it is to take 1 cup of all-purpose flour, take 2 tablespoons of that flour out and substitute with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and mix it up to lower the protein. That is how you get 1 cup of cake and pastry flour. Now I have sieved my cake and pastry flour. I'm going to mix all these dry ingredients up with my spatula, trusty dusty spatula. And once I've mixed it, I'm going to set it aside and get my egg mixture ready. I have 4 egg whites in this mixing bowl. I'm going to beat them until they form soft peak. It's gonna take a while, and mix it on medium speed, not too high speed. Now I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar. Once they got foamy, add half of it, continue mixing it, and then after a bit of time mixing, I'm going to add more of the sugar. Once I've added all my sugar, this is what you're looking for. This is a soft peak. You get a soft peak after you beat it with the sugar. Gonna look fantastic, like a toothbrush. And I have 4 egg yolks and 2 whole eggs. I'm going to use the same whisk attachment, and I'm going to beat my eggs all at once. It's okay to have a little bit of egg whites from just now. I'm going to add half a cup of sugar to my egg mixture. And continue to beat on very high speed. And while whipping, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract to flavor the vanilla flavor. And I'm going to continue to whip them until it holds up and it is very white and it's very fluffy. It's gonna take a while, so just be patient for them, and they will be very fluffy and white. Now it's not the stage, so just keep mixing. So here is our egg mixture, and when you take the beaters, take the mixture and draw an 8, it will stay in there for a few seconds and then it disappears. Now it's time to incorporate the egg whites into our yolk base. So first I'm going to add half of my beaten soft peak egg whites into my egg yolk mixture. Half of it, just adding half, and then I like to use my whisk attachment to slowly mix them together. Drag the mixture up, and once you're done with the first batch, continue the second batch of your egg whites. Now I'm going to take the whisk and I'm going to pull and mix my egg whites together. So once you're done with your egg whites, we are going to fold in. I'm going to scrape down the sides first. It's going to be very light. And now I'm going to fold in our almond and cake flour mixture. Just dump it all in and start to fold with your spatula. You don't want to be too gentle at this point, or it will be hard for your almonds and cake flour to incorporate. So this is the batter you're looking for. Now we have 3 tins and I have 1 cup, measuring cup. I'm going to scoop my batter into each baking tin, lined with parchment paper. It is like you're making a jelly roll cake, so you don't want to grease the pan, and the leavening of our cake is the eggs itself. So now I've spread my batter flat. I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. And this cake takes about 7 minutes to bake. While our cake is baking, we are going to make the ganache filling. So in a bowl, I have 16 ounces of chocolate, and to this I'll add a full cup of cream. You want to make sure the saucepan have an inch of simmering water. Now I have my chocolate and my cream all smooth and glossy. We are going to add 1 more cup of cream. You want to make sure it's 35.1% milk fat cream. So not milk, just cream. Now that the cream is mixed up, we are going to throw this into the refrigerator. I have 4 egg whites in my mixing bowl, and to my egg whites I'm going to add my sugar, 1 1/4 cups. In here we are going to be making Swiss meringue buttercream to top our opera cake off. 1 1/4 cup is perfect amount to be a little bit more sweeter, so Swiss meringue sometimes get too plain. The flavor is not sweet enough, so I'm going to add more sugar at this point. I'm going to mix them until all my sugar is incorporated. Now we're going to go back to that simmering water on our stove. I'm going to place my egg whites, foamy egg whites, and I'm going to whisk my egg whites just until the sugar granules is really fine and the sugar melts into the egg whites. This is what you're looking for. The sugar has melted into the egg whites. We have a really beautiful white egg white glossy mixture. If you have a candy thermometer, use it. You want to make sure it reaches 160 degrees Celsius. No, Fahrenheit, 160 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to use my whip attachment and beat my egg whites until it reaches a stiff peak. This is what you're looking for. This is Swiss meringue, and I have whipped them until it's stiff peak and cool to room temperature. So now is the perfect time to add 1 1/2 cups of unsalted butter. It is soft, a little bit more softened, so it will mix up very easily into our meringues, and it will be a little bit more fluid, but that's okay. Once you've added all your butter, you'll get a really beautiful consistency buttercream. So just keep mixing. So if you on your halfway of adding your butter, you want to scrape down the sides of the bowl, and you can see that the stiff Swiss meringue has turned into this liquidy like base. So this is not what you're looking for. You want to keep it mixing and continue adding the butter. Don't panic if the mixture is too watery. This is the buttercream that has beaten for a really long time, and the butter left is just a little bit more. We need to add a little bit more butter, and now you can see the buttercream started to have their body. Now our buttercream frosting is done. This is Swiss meringue buttercream, and if you would like, you can add coffee flavor because opera cake is all about the coffee flavor. And here we have a really smooth, silky vanilla buttercream. For the coffee syrup, I've mixed up 1 tablespoon of coffee to 1 cup of water and mixed with 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now I'm going to put my coffee syrup onto my first layer of sponge cake. I'm going to be generous with the coffee syrup. And once you have give the sponge layer coffee syrup, I'm going to frost it with 2 dollops of my buttercream. You want to make sure to smooth out the buttercream to the edges, and after you have smoothed your buttercream, it's time to put the next layer on. And we are going to brush the same coffee syrup. If you have a pastry brush, you can use that, but I can't find my pastry brush, so I'm using a spoon. So once you've done with your coffee syrup, now it's time to add our ganache. My ganache has been cooling in the fridge for about an hour, and I give them a little bit of whisk so that they are more spreadable, like this. Even if they are still really liquid like consistency, that's okay because we are going to cool it into the fridge later on. I'm taking my spatula again, which I have cleaned it out, and the way I'm going to spread my ganache is onto the edges first. So if you're spreading something on a square cake, you want to make sure to go to the edges, 4 edges, and then you can go to the center of each side. Make sure you give them really flat. And now spread it to the side. You want to make sure you give a really good amount of ganache. Once your ganache is done, this third layer of sponge is added to the top. Now it is time to add the final layer of buttercream frosting on the top of the cake. So I have my buttercream so much left, and I've spread it out. So you can see I've brushed with the coffee syrup and I've placed the next layer of buttercream. So once your buttercream is all spreaded nice and evenly, now we are going to take this cake or opera cake and put it into the fridge to chill for about an hour or so to set up the chocolate ganache, the buttercream, and to prepare the chocolate glaze on top of your opera cake. You want to make sure that your buttercream frosting is very flat, or if when you pour the ganache glaze on top, it won't be good. So now I have the remaining ganache, and I'm going to throw in 2 ounces of couverture baking chocolate. This is addition for the bitterness of the glaze. I'm going to melt it on a double boiler, and now I'm going to add about a tablespoon of corn syrup to give a much shinier look to my chocolate glaze. You can see from a spreadable consistency, we melt it again, and you can see it is far more liquid. Now I've glazed my cake, and this is extremely beautiful. Actually, I made a mess, and it looks awful in my kitchen. So here is my opera cake after it's been chilled and sliced, and now you can enjoy a bite, and I guarantee it is going to be very good. So I hope you like, comment, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and so that you won't miss any new videos that are coming next week. And I'll see you next week on this channel. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. And goodbye, guys. Have a nice treat.